Okay, we're going to practice for our Chapter 8 quiz a little bit here. So let's take a look at our first problems. We have the standard deviation for a population is 15.7. We have a sample of 28 observations selected, and we have a mean of 145.15. The population is known to have a normal distribution, and then we're making some confidence intervals here. So the first thing we need to do is we need to determine if we are wanting to use the Z or the T table. So this is going to tell us what we need here. That's a little bit much. Hold on. Okay, where it says here the standard deviation for a population is known. So when the standard deviation for the population is known, you're going to use a Z table. Okay, so when your standard deviation for the population is known, you're using Z. Okay, so that's the first thing here. And let's go ahead and write what we have. So we have a mean of a sample, so X bar, 145.15. We have population standard deviation, 15.7, and we have a sample size of 28. We want to construct confidence intervals. So what we need for the confidence interval, so CI for confidence interval, is X bar plus or minus our margin of error. Okay, so for a margin of error, we want to look at our confidence intervals. So on the previous worksheet, I'm going to pull that over here. We had this table here with our confidence levels, our common confidence levels. So you're just going to reference this for these values here, or you can look them up in the Z table. So for a 99% confidence interval, you're going to use the Z value 2.575. Okay, then you are going to find the margin of error. So the formula for E, our margin of error, is Z times the standard deviation, so standard deviation of a population over the square root of the sample size. So let's go ahead and plug those in. So 2.575 times our standard deviation of our population, which is 15.7, over the square root of our sample size, 28. Okay, so that's going to give us our margin of error. So let's go ahead and get our calculator up here. Give me 1 second. All right, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to go 2.575 times, and then in parentheses, I'm going to go 15.7 divided by the square root of 28. I'm going to close the square root, and then I'm going to close that right there. Okay, so that's going to give me a margin of error of 7.64. Okay, so my margin of error is 7.64. My formula for the confidence interval is X bar plus or minus my margin of error. So my X bar is 145.15, and I'm going to go plus or minus 7.64. Okay, so let's see what we got here. 145.15 minus 7.64. Oh, hold on. So 137.51. And then I'm going to go 145.15 plus 7.64. And that's going to give me 152.79. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing with a 97% confidence interval. Okay, so I've got the same mean and sample size and standard deviation. I just have a different Z value. So for the 97% confidence interval, our Z value from our chart is 2.17. Okay, so we're going to go, our margin of error is going to be 2.17, our Z value, times 15.7 over the square root of 28. So we're going to have a different margin of error this time. So let's see what that gives us. So let's see, 15.7 divided by the square root of 28. And we are multiplying that by 2.17. So that's going to give us 6.44. Okay, and then we're going to do x bar plus or minus our margin of error. So our x bar is still 145.15. We just have a different margin of error here. So plus or minus 6.44. So 145 minus 6.44, that'll give us 138.71. And then 145.15 plus 6.44 will give us 151.59. And then our 95% confidence interval, we're using a z-value of, let's see here, 1.96. Okay, so our margin of error is going to be 1.96 times 15.7 over the square root of 28. So let's see what that is. 1.96 times 15.7 divided by the square root 28. 5.82. Okay, so notice as the confidence interval gets smaller, so does our margin of error. Okay, so let's see here. X bar plus or minus my margin of error will give me 145.15 plus or minus 5.82. So 145.15 minus 5.82, so 139.33. And then 145.15 plus 5.82 gives us 150.97. Okay, and then watch the next video to see how to do this in your calculator.